Hi everyone, Carol here from Oak House Journals, and yep, it's time for tea. Well, no, not really, but I just wanted to share with you what's on my desk and what I've been doing today. Something new for me, probably not new at all for the bulk of you, but I was quite excited about doing it. I was set a challenge at the start of the week by my lovely friend Leanne in Australia to have a go doing some encaustic work, something I've never done before, something I've always planned to do but never got round to it. So she set me a challenge and we both decided that we would do it sometime this week, and that's what I've been doing today. So why have I got my tea caddy out? Well, I wanted to use these. These are my tea bags. Nothing special, just English breakfast tea. But I wanted to use my tea bags because I wanted to use the tea bag paper. Now, I used mine as they were. I didn't actually drink the tea first and use them so that they were stained. I wanted them left in their natural state, and depending on how your tea bags are constructed, you might not have to do the faff that I did, which was effectively cut the bottom here, empty out the tea, and then cut away one of the sections, because these tea bags kind of have two sections to them. So that's literally what I did. I slit them across the bottom, emptied out the tea into the bin, and then just very carefully cut away the side that didn't have the tab on it, so this side, and it gave me my tea bags. Now, if I made a mistake, then it wasn't a problem because I just unravelled them and used the tea bag paper as it was rather than in a bag form. I've got tea everywhere now, sorry about that. I also didn't have any beeswax, so all I used was this, and as you can see, it is wax granules, and if I maybe put some in my hand, you might be able to gauge the size of the granules. Now, what I was going to use was a tea bag and just grate a tea light and just grate it, but I suddenly remembered that I had a little bit of this left over. Every year I buy a massive bag of this, and I have a candle outside the front door at Christmas time, and I suddenly remembered that I had a little bit left over, and as you can see, some big chunks in here left over that I could actually use, and it proved to be amazing. It was really good, so I didn't have to resort to actually scraping a tea light to get the wax that I needed. This was absolutely perfect, and because it's small granules, I could control it quite easily. So I've had a ball basically. What I did first was I had a go at using it on a napkin, and let's just clear the decks here a little bit. So this was well, both of these were a couple of napkins that Leanne gifted to me a while ago, and I obviously peeled the napkins apart because they were multi-layered to get to the final layer, and then I started using the beeswax, and I just love the effect that I got. Really lovely. So this is part of my napkin, and I didn't scrunch this one, I just left it as it was. But look at this one, and can you see the difference? I scrunched it so that you get the cracking and crazing in the wax, and it's just lovely. I love the feel of both of those. They're very, very nice. And then I had a go on this one, and this one is equally as beautiful, has a lovely feel to it. I have to admit, I did spend absolutely ages dabbing up any excess because I didn't want my napkins to be have a very waxy or heavy feel to them. So these still have a nice delicate feel to them, but they're quite durable, and I just love how they turned out. So that was my experiment using napkins. And then obviously because I mentioned tea bags, these are what I made out of my tea bags. So these are just images. I've got them all tangled up now, would you believe it? Okay, so these are my images where I pop the image up inside just one side of the tea bag. The other side has been cut away, but before I did that I stamped on the back for a bit of interest, and now my image is beautifully sealed inside there, and I can decorate it if I want to, I can stitch it if I want to, and I just get a hint of the stamping on the back coming through. This number 2 was stamped on the front, and my tab is still attached when I can unravel it all. Oh, not very professional. This one didn't work quite so well. This one I scrunched up my tea bag before I put my image inside, and she was heavily stamped on the back, and of course whatever you stamp on the back will come through. So this one hasn't worked quite so well, but I would just collage on the top of that so it's still usable. And again, this one is not quite so bad. The stamping is not quite so heavy on that one coming through. This one I absolutely love. I love how this came out, and this is one where I didn't stamp on the back, and in retrospect I probably wouldn't stamp on the back again. I've learnt that lesson. As I say, this is all new to me, but I really love how that image came out and how she's encapsulated in that tea bag. Really nice. And this is another one exactly the same. But again, as you can see, you're getting an image of the stamping on the back, and my little tab has come off that one, so I'll have to make sure that that goes on it. But I only had a few of these images, these vintage images, so what I decided to do was run them through my inkjet printer. I'm just going to pull you down a little bit more. There we go. There we go. I decided to run these images through my inkjet printer before I use them inside my tea bags, just so that I had another run at them. And this is how they turned out, where I printed them on 80 GSM, just normal photocopy paper or printer paper. And I was really pleased. I just put a piece of the tea bag paper on top and fused it to the printer paper, which had the image on it, and I stamped on the back, and I really like how these worked out as well. So I'm quite comfortable with these. This is another one, and again I could use these in a collage or something like that, so I'm really happy how these turned out. And they actually, even though they've been stamped on, they seem to have worked a little bit better in terms of the stamping on the back not coming through as much. This one I absolutely love, and you can clearly see the stamping coming through, but it just seems to have worked so much better on the printer paper. And again, you'll recognise this if anybody shops at this particular Etsy shop. This was an image that I had in amongst my stash, so I decided to use it as well and stamp on the back. So I'm really, really pleased how these worked out. For a first attempt, I don't think they're too bad, and I certainly will be trying this process again. Let me just show you. This is a piece of my 80 GSM printer paper, and I just went ahead and used it really as a mop-up piece for some of my wax that was coming off the napkins, and actually it's come out almost like tracing paper or vellum, so that's a good tip, something I can use in the future if I don't have any vellum to hand. And just so that you can see that I have done something constructive with all my playing today, when I pick up all this wax that's everywhere now, I made a couple of very, very simple pocket envelopes using a book page out of this book, The Concise British Flora in Colour. So this was just one of the index pages from the back, and all I did was I used some of the waxed napkin paper and covered it and stitched it and put some lace on it. And I did exactly the same with this one. And thank you, Leanne. This is some of your beautiful lace trim that you gifted me a while ago. So I'm certainly making good use of it. And this is the second one. And because Angela has done her subscriber rack challenge today and posted her video, I'll put the link down below. I'm going to be filling two of these or these two little pockets with some goodies, and I'm starting off with these as two of my racks as my entry to Angela's rack challenge. But I will tell Angela who my recipients are going to be per her entry rules. And so I've started. I'm on my way. I've started my rack challenge. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for letting me share what I've done today and what's on my desk. And I hope you've had an amazing day too. Have a great weekend. Take care and stay happy. Happy crafting. Bye bye.